Such tiny talisman characters weren't something that could be created in the current Cultivation, world of the Heavenly South. That meant the silver chains were an extremely rare ancient treasure. With that thought, silver light flickered across Han Li's hands, and the cut pieces of chain floated into his storage pouch. Later, he planned to examine whether they could be restored and to test their true might. With the chains gone, Han Li's gaze fell on the cadaver demon's sinister form. His expression darkened as he flicked his fingers, sending azure threads piercing several parts of the demon's body. A moment later, a faint smile appeared on his face. Aside from the missing arm, the cadaver demon was perfect for refinement. Its body was exceptionally sturdy. Common magic treasures couldn't harm it. Even a trace of its corpse fire or venom could instantly kill a core formation cultivator. Han Li's eyes shifted to the destroyed arm. A thought struck him. He slapped his spirit beast pouch and released a swarm of black-tainted, gold-devouring beetles. The insects buzzed loudly as they circled his head. With a wave of his hand and a spell seal, they condensed around the cadaver demon's missing arm. Moments later, a new arm, black, silver, and gold materialized, perfectly mirroring its other arm except for its contrasting color. A faint smile of satisfaction curved Han Li's lips. He then arranged formation flags and discs, meticulously crafting a profound spell formation. After 2 months of work at the center of the mountain, Han Li returned to his cave residence. His face was pale, drained of vitality. Silvermoon greeted him, but he merely secluded himself in a hidden room, leaving the cadaver demon unmentioned. A month later, the large door opened, and Han Li walked out calmly. Standing guard, Silvermoon reported respectfully, "Master, the 6-winged frost centipedes have begun to hatch in the insect room." Han Li smiled. "Let's go have a look." Together, they made their way to the insect room. He opened the restrictions, revealing the newly hatched centipedes. Larger than the first generation, their glacial chi was far stronger, lethal even to core formation cultivators. When fused into the purple apex flames, they became terrifyingly deadly. The eggs, glowing with black light, were fist-sized and surrounded by 3-meter-wide blocks of ice, the source of the room's chilling aura. The centipedes sensed the presence of intruders, raising their heads and snarling. Han Li examined the eggs closely. After counting them, he nodded. 24 eggs. That will do. Silvermoon, summon my in-name disciple and tell her she can claim her centipedes. Yes, Silvermoon said, taking out a talisman. Whispering a few words, she released it into the air, where it streaked off in red light. Han Li then turned to the gold-devouring beetles in the next room. Because the green liquid had been prioritized for the centipedes, he hadn't focused on the beetles. They remained unchanged, suspended in a huge golden ball atop a spirit tree. Even so, Han Li frowned. Once these beetles fully evolved, they would reach their final stage. Despite the rainbow skirt grass accelerating their evolution, the process had been painstakingly slow. In mere decades, the gold-devouring beetles had finally matured. Withdrawing his gaze, Han Li asked, "Silvermoon, how is the profound goddess palm? Several months have passed. Can we tell if it can be saved?" Silvermoon hesitated. "It's hard to say. It would be best if Master examined it personally." Han Li frowned. "Hard to say?" He gestured for her to lead him to the medicine garden. There the profound goddess palm root stood. Its stalk root had shifted from faint yellow to green, but remained small and bare, with no buds. Han Li sensed no aura of life. Silvermoon explained slowly. The root was watered with the green liquid several times without effect. Only the combination of myriad-year spirit milk and wine nectar changed its color. I believed it had come back to life, but apart from the color, nothing changed. The green liquid had no effect. Whether it's truly alive or dead, I cannot say. Han Li observed it indifferently. If it reacted, there's still a chance. Another method will be needed, but now is not the time. We must settle affairs in the far west first. It's about time we depart. We leave now? Silvermoon asked. Tomorrow, Han Li replied firmly. I'll first bid farewell to Senior Marshal Brother, Sheng. Then I will seal the cave and take the most important items. The far west shouldn't have high-grade cultivators. It won't be very dangerous, just time-consuming. We must return within 3 years, or we'll miss the prime window to enter Devil Fall Valley. Silvermoon nodded. The next morning, Han Li stepped out of the cave and saw a graceful woman waiting. He raised an eyebrow in surprise. "What is it? Didn't I provide enough medicine to last year's?" Mu Peiling lowered her head. "My lord, I've decided it's better for me to journey with you. My cultivation has reached a bottleneck. As your concubine, serving you is only natural. Will you bring me?" Her beauty inspired admiration. Han Li appraised her silently, pondering. Silvermoon stood behind him, smiling mysteriously. Finally, he nodded. "Since you wish to go, so be it. Along the way, I will guide your cultivation. The sooner you reach core formation, the better. Many thanks, my lord." Mu Peiling's face lit up with excitement. Hanley smiled and flicked his sleeve, releasing the wind-riding chariot in a streak of white light. Silvermoon giggled and slipped inside his sleeve. Mu Peiling's jaw dropped, but Han Li paid no mind. "I'll explain Silvermoon on the way. Let's head out." "Yes, my lord." Mu Peiling followed gracefully. Han Li entered the carriage in an azure blur, forming a hand seal. A layer of white light covered it, and the wind-riding chariot streaked across the sky, disappearing. News quickly spread in the drifting cloud sect that Elder Han had suffered slight injuries confronting a devil cultivator and would seclude himself to restore cultivation. The neighboring sects sent inquiries, but Elder Cheng gave no answers. Even the sect's allied cultivators were denied information. Despite this, Han Li's reputation soared. Many viewed him as a cultivator on par with the legendary eccentric Heavenvenge. The drifting cloud sect's fame rose alongside him. Vagrant cultivators and those with profound skill flocked to the Dream Cloud mountains to join. In a short time, the sect gained recognition as a top sect in the state of Xi, and Han Li became a revered figure among disciples. The state of Donghua in the heavenly South continent was one of the rare countries that remained, unaffiliated with any of the continent's 4 superpowers. Its independence was not due to weakness or lack of resources. In fact, its wealth and abundance of cultivation resources placed it among the top 10 countries of the heavenly South. The reason Donghua remained neutral lay in its geography. While distant from the 9 Nations Union, it shared borders with the 3 other superpowers. Its cultivator sects were equally varied: righteous Dao sects, devil Dao sects, and a few smaller leisurely sects all coexisted. Most importantly, the native sects were strong enough to resist domination by outsiders, forming the foundation of Donghua's independence. Despite this, the neighboring superpowers did not simply ignore the country. Covert and open maneuvers were constant, but none achieved decisive results. Eventually, the 3 powers reached a tacit agreement: Donghua would remain neutral. Behind the scenes, however, each superpower secretly supported the native sects, maintaining a careful balance of influence. This delicate arrangement attracted cultivators from across the continent, helping Donghua flourish for decades. In Donghua's northern Chang province lay a massive depression covering 2/3 of its land. Dense forests and an unbroken mountain range, the Myriad Link. Mountains dominated the landscape. No one knew exactly how many peaks existed, but the range teemed with demon beasts and rare medicinal herbs. Yet even the bravest cultivators dared not venture recklessly into the mountains. The Myriad Link Mountains carried a far more ominous reputation: the Devil Fall Domain. At its heart lay the infamous Devil Fall Valley, the most dangerous place in the heavenly South. Over the years, countless powerful cultivators had entered the valley seeking treasure, only to vanish beneath its veil of mystery and death. Even the mountains themselves were perilous. A toxic, dense miasma would occasionally sweep across the range, lasting for years. It was thick enough to resemble a formidable spell formation, cloaking everything in darkness. Within it, direction was impossible to determine. Demon beasts could not be caught, and herbs were inaccessible. All that could be done was to watch from the outskirts, or wait for the rare occasions when the miasma thinned. Approximately every 50 years, the miasma would wane, and the spatial tiers surrounding Devilfall Valley stabilized. During this brief year-long window, treasure hunters from across the heavenly South would flock to the mountains. Even with abundant demon beasts and ancient herbs, only a small fraction could claim the riches. Merchants, backed by nearby clans, would set up temporary market cities to profit from the gathered resources. Recently, the miasma had begun to thin once more. Though months remained before it fully vanished, cultivators had already begun arriving in unprecedented numbers. Among them were many high-grade cultivators, alarming the local sects and clans. Fearing for their disciples, the local powers sent scouts to investigate, and what they discovered left them astonished. On a nameless hill at the edge of Chang Province, a pair of core formation cultivators stood side by side. The man wore dark blue robes, appearing scholarly and in his 30s. The woman wore palace robes, her figure ample though her face unremarkable. Both maintained a calm exterior, though flickers of anxiety betrayed their true emotions. A silver light appeared in the distance, streaking toward them. As it drew near, their expressions brightened. The silver streak circled above the hill before revealing a scholarly man in embroidered robes, around 40 years old. The woman smiled. "Big brother, you finally arrived. Did you get the command medallions for entering the valley?" "Heh, just in time," he replied, raising his hand as two streaks of azure light shot toward them. The couple caught the bronze medallions, each inscribed with the word Devilfall, red on one side, gold on the other. Spiritual chi faintly emanated from them. The woman's face lit with excitement, but the man frowned, appearing thoughtful. "This is incredible," she said eagerly. "With the Devilfall medallions, we can enter the valley. Even a few ancient spirit medicines might give us the chance to condense a nascent soul." The blue-robed man sighed. "A small pendant worth over 30,000 spirit stones. It cost us over 100,000 for all three. All the wealth we've gathered over centuries is gone just for these medallions." The scholarly man waved a hand. "Second brother, don't worry. Without our friendship with the ghost spirit sect and their manpower shortage, we wouldn't have gotten even one medallion. Being able to purchase these for 100,000 spirit stones is a rare chance. Originally, the ghost spirit sect planned to enter Devilfall Valley alone, but pressure from other sects forced them to allow outsiders." The blue-robed man looked at the medallion, worry creasing his brow. "But can we trust their method? The spatial tears in the valley are lethal. I heard the ghost spirit sect elder barely made it out alive." "Is that true?" The scholarly man nodded. "It's plausible. The ghost spirit sect treats the entire heavenly south as its enemy. Only the elder's nascent soul survived. His body perished within the valley, which makes sense." The man hesitated. "Even so, entering the valley is risky. Did we make a mistake buying the medallions?" The woman snorted. "With our talent, we're already at the peak of our realm. Without opportunities like this, we'll surely die within 200 years. The outer areas of the valley are less dangerous. If we're careful, it won't be too risky." The scholarly man added calmly, "Several hundred Devilfall medallions have been issued, mostly to various sects. A few Mulan spell warriors are participating, along with hundreds of other cultivators. With so many people inside, we have little to fear. And if things go wrong, we can leave. But miss this chance, and we'll regret it for life." The woman nodded thoughtfully. The blue-robed man sighed and said, "Since Big Brother says so, I will follow into the valley." Meanwhile, the Chang province buzzed with activity. Half a year ago, rumors had spread that the ghost spirit sect had discovered a way into Devilfall Valley, intending to monopolize its treasures. The news caused uproar across the continent. Righteous Dao sects, heavenly Dao sects, and devil Dao sects all sent emissaries to verify the truth. Under scrutiny and pressure, the ghost spirit sect reluctantly admitted it. They agreed to issue a limited number of command medallions, allowing select sects to accompany them when the spatial tiers stabilized. Each medallion came at a steep cost in spirit stones, with some reserved for vagrant cultivators and smaller sects to prevent resentment. Now, as the valley's opening approached, the Chang province was alive with cultivators from across the continent, all eager for a chance at Devilfall Valley's treasures. Every newcomer was cautious, aware that danger lurked in every shadow. The nearest city to Chang province was Birchleaf City. Though it lay thousands of kilometers from the Myriad Link Mountains, many cultivators unwilling to camp outdoors chose the city for lodging. Their presence had scared off the small sect that had originally occupied the city, forcing them to retreat to their mountain base. Despite the influx of cultivators, Birchleaf City had no shortage of inns. One of the more modest establishments, the Good Fortune Tavern, had two wings occupied by different groups of cultivators. In one room, 3 young and beautiful female cultivators sat around a wooden table, speaking in hushed tones. Violet Spirit and Mei Ning whom Han Li had last encountered in Skyfirst City, were present, along with a third woman dressed in white, surnamed Song. At that moment, Violet's spirit concealed her extraordinary beauty. Appearing as a common young woman with only a subtle charm, white light glowed faintly around the walls, forming a restriction that prevented eavesdropping. Violet's spirit frowned. "Big Sister Song, have you received any news from Brother Han? The miasma will clear soon. If he doesn't show up, we might miss the prime time to enter Devilfall Valley." Cultivator Song smiled calmly. "Little Sister Violet's spirit, despite Marshal Senior Chung's claim that Marshal Uncle Han was injured, I discovered the truth. He has journeyed to the far west. I don't know the details, but the trip there and back would take at least a year. He won't return immediately. We've left him a way to contact us at the sect. When he returns, he will seek us out. No cultivator in the far west can hold Marshal Uncle Han Li down." Violet's spirit, remembering the matter of the Umbra realm, hesitated. "It's hard to say. Even with fellow Taoist Han's strength, some matters cannot be solved with cultivation alone." She flicked her eyes toward Song. "Big Sister Song, it seems you now speak of Brother Han with great respect. Before, you didn't hold him in such high regard." Her smile was mysterious. Cultivator Song blushed faintly before regaining her composure. "If Little Sister Violet spirit could defeat a cultivator at the peak of mid-nascent soul, I would hold you in equal regard. Senior Marshal Uncle, Han is now on par with the three greatest cultivators of the Heavenly South. As his junior, is it strange to speak of him with respect?" Violet's spirit giggled. "It's only natural. It surprised me when I heard of his accomplishments. 10 years ago, he was only a core formation cultivator like us. Now his abilities are astonishing. Had we known earlier, it might have been better to convince him to take Little Sister Mei as a concubine, ensuring her path in cultivation." Mei Ning blushed at the remark, snorting softly and remaining silent. A faint sadness flickered in her eyes. Hanley had given her the choice, but now with his towering reputation, she could no longer easily mention it. Cultivator Song's eyes widened. "Mei Ning nearly became Marshal Uncle Han's concubine? I've never heard that before." She then smiled at Violet's spirit. "I always suspected there was a connection between you and Marshal Uncle Han. Your beauty is extraordinary. Who could resist?" Violet's spirit snorted lightly. "Had I known he would grow so powerful, perhaps I would have devoted myself to him. As his Tao companion, my cultivation would have advanced far, faster." Her lips curled into a mysterious smile, leaving Song unsure whether she was joking. After a pause, Violet's spirit leaned forward. "If Brother Han comes to help us, we'll be able to acquire the Spirit Kindle fruit with ease, given his abilities. Big Sister Song, are you certain you won't enter Devilfall Valley?" Mei Ning also refuses, the sudden surge of high grade. "Cultivators makes it too dangerous for her cultivation level." Cultivator Song nodded. "I've considered it carefully. I'm different from the two of you. Even though I am only at early core formation, I'm close to advancing further. It isn't worth risking my life for treasures in the valley. I know my limits." Violet's spirit gave a bitter smile. "Since you've decided, I won't argue. If fellow Taoist Han doesn't arrive in time, I won't go alone. With so many powerful cultivators entering the valley, fighting over treasures will be inevitable. An early core formation cultivator like me would only be courting disaster." Song muttered under her breath, a strange expression crossing her face. "I didn't expect the Ghost Spirit Sect's plans to be leaked. At first, I suspected Violet's spirit had spread the news to exploit the chaos." Violet's spirit feigned indignation. "Exploit the chaos? Naturally, fewer cultivators entering the valley is better. Only then can we catch the Ghost Spirit, sect off guard, and seize the Spirit Kindle fruit." Suddenly, a familiar voice rang outside the room. "Oh, so it wasn't fellow Taoist Violet's spirit who spread the news? Then it must be someone else. Marshal Uncle Han! Brother Han!" Violet's spirit and Song's eyes lit up in recognition. Excitedly, Violet's spirit struck the door with a spell seal, and in a flash of white light, it slowly opened. Hanley stood there, a youth in his 20s, hands behind his back, dressed in partially worn-out clothes. A yellow bamboo tube, a foot long, was slung across his back as if he hadn't even bothered to store it. His bearing had changed, more unwavering and collected than before, giving off an unfathomable aura. Cultivator Song hurried forward with a respectful curtsy. "I pay my respects to Marshal Uncle Han." Violet's spirit, flustered, said, "Brother Han, you've finally arrived. I feared something would delay you." She felt a twinge of embarrassment, recalling her earlier words about devotion. Hanley smiled. "Since I made an agreement, it's only natural to arrive on time," gave her a measured glance before entering the room. Mei Ning bit her lip and saluted. Hanley waved her off before taking an empty seat at the table. Violet's spirit regained her composure, while Song hesitated before sitting. Violet's spirit asked, "Brother Han, when did you return to the heavenly south? Was your journey to the far west smooth?" Hanley smiled. "A few small problems came up in the far west. They were resolved, but it cost me some time. Otherwise, I would have returned 6 months ago." Violet's spirit and Song exchanged curious glances. For Han Li, a small problem could hardly have been trivial, yet they wisely chose not to press him. Hanley then asked, turning to the other two women, "Earlier, I heard only Lady Violet's spirit wishes to enter Devilfall Valley. Martial niece Song, Mei Ning, have you made your decision?" Song replied earnestly, "Since Martial Uncle knows, we won't hide it. Fellow Taoist Mei Ning and I believe the journey is too dangerous. It's not worth risking our lives for 30 years of cultivation. Mei Ning recently obtained a core formation pill and doesn't wish to endanger herself. Devilfall Valley is the most dangerous area in the heavenly south. The spirit kindle fruit lies deep within. It's far too risky for us." Having listened carefully to Cultivator Song, Hanley merely nodded, refraining from pressing further. "It's good that Martial niece Song and Lady Mei won't be entering. There are undoubtedly villains lurking in the myriad Link Mountains. Even I might not return alive from Devilfall Valley. Lady Violet Spirit, are you still determined to enter?" Hanley asked casually. Violet Spirit smiled calmly. "So long as Brother Han is willing to enter, I am prepared to face the risk. I have complete confidence in fellow Taoist Han." Hanley regarded her for a moment. "Since fellow Taoist Violet Spirit has spoken, I will not try to dissuade you. But before we go, there are several matters I need clarified." Violet Spirit, unsurprised, nodded. "Of course. If Brother Han has any questions, please ask freely." "First," Hanley began, his expression serious, "I need confirmation that the spirit kindle fruit truly exists. I will not enter Devilfall Valley in high hopes only to find it a falsehood. Lady Violet Spirit, can you confirm its existence?" Prepared for this, Violet Spirit immediately produced a green jade slip and handed it to him. "It is real. The ghost spirit sect's nascent. Soul that escaped Devilfall Valley by a fluke reported it. Why else would a ghost spirit sect nascent soul elder risk everything to enter?" Hanley submerged his spiritual sense into the jade slip, scanning its contents silently. After a moment, he withdrew it and returned it expressionlessly. Frowning, he said, "According to this, the spirit kindle fruit exists, but it lies deep within the valley, and its exact location is unclear. Finding it with only this information will be difficult," Violet's spirit explained urgently, as if worried he might back down. The ghost spirit elder only discovered it by accident when manifesting his nascent soul. He could not recall the precise location, but he noted several key features. It shouldn't be impossible to locate it. Hanley considered the information, weighing risks against potential gains. After a moment, he asked calmly, "Even if we locate the spirit kindle fruit, won't we need to refine it inside the valley before it loses potency? Has Lady Violet Spirit prepared the supplementary pill ingredients?" Violet Spirit's eyes lit up, though she suppressed her excitement quickly. The supplementary ingredients for the nature origin pill were difficult to gather, but I collected them over several years. With the spirit kindle fruit and a bit of luck, refining the pills shouldn't be an issue. Hanley's expression grew grim. "Then I will attempt it. But Lady Violet Spirit, you must understand the dangers of Devilfall Valley. I will protect you as best I can, but if we encounter a peril even I cannot withstand, you must be ready to fend for yourself. This is natural. If anything happens, I will not blame Brother Han. I have confidence in my ability to survive," Violet Spirit replied without hesitation, her face hardening with determination. Han Li relaxed slightly, satisfied with her resolve. "Can you three fellow Taoists find out how the ghost spirit sect plans to enter the valley? When I arrived, I heard they are issuing Devilfall medallions to restrict entry. It seems odd. Whether a few hundred or a few thousand enter, the danger remains the same. yet they limit the numbers, selling each medallion for tens of thousands of spirit stones. Violet Spirit smiled faintly. As expected, Brother Han is discerning. You are correct. Although Mei Ning and I haven't acquired the full entry method, we learned that Ghost Spirit, sect disciples require many members and a large sum of spirit stones to enter at a specific time. The number of entrants is indeed limited. Regardless of the method, our Drifting Cloud sect received 3 Devilfall medallions, and I obtained one upon returning. Entry for me is certain, but surviving the depths is another matter. Most cultivators will likely remain in the outer valley. Only nascent soul cultivators dare the inner depths. Core formation cultivators may fight each other, but the dangers there should be manageable for fellow Taoist Violet Spirit. As for the inner valley, Hanley's eyes flickered as he continued speaking through voice transmissions. Song and Mei Ning listened carefully, showing no dissatisfaction. Given the immense danger, their caution was only natural. Violet Spirit hesitated briefly before nodding. It is as Brother Han says, then I will see you inside Devilfall Valley. Marshal Ni Song, do you know where Senior Marshal Brother Chung is? Sect disciples say he has already arrived. Song hesitated. I don't know. He arrived with close friends. I haven't seen him yet. Hanley muttered softly to himself. Senior Marshal Brother, Chung wishes to enter the valley before the end of his lifespan. After a brief silence, Han Li asked, frowning, I've also heard that the Mulan may be entering. Is this true? Song, feeling slightly overwhelmed, shook her head. We've heard rumors, but the matter is unclear. Hanley stroked his chin, his expression deepening, then silently bid them farewell. The 3 women watched him leave, a mixture of curiosity and unease in their eyes. What's going on? Why did Brother Han leave so quickly? Violet Spirit whispered, bewildered. Mei Ning frowned. I don't know, but it seems Senior Han has other business. Song muttered softly, glancing at the door. Outside, Han Li walked calmly down a quiet street. But inside his mind, he was scolding someone fiercely. Were you trying to scare me out of my mind? An aged voice replied casually in his head. Hey, I only thought that girl, Violet Spirit, was deathly beautiful. Stirring a few thoughts is natural. Hanley snorted, his voice tense. Don't tell me you forgot how you affected my second. Nascent soul with the 7 passions art. You can sense whatever you like, but don't involve me. Violet. Spirit's current appearance isn't special. You've yet to see her true form. And Ruyun, my past concubine, was peerless in beauty. How can this girl drive you to such a state? You aren't trying to trick me, are you? The old man's voice slowed, tinged with resentment. I intended the 7 passions art for your primal soul. Who could have imagined a mere early, nascent soul cultivator had a second, nascent soul and could resist calamity? Even if my technique can't control a consciousness, it can still sway emotions and weaken resolve. As for the girl, I can see through her disguise with my spiritual sense. Hanley's tone grew harsh. Even if your 7 passions art were stronger, it would barely slow me. My second nascent soul shares sensations with me, but your art is a minor hindrance. I never expected the core founder of the 1,000 Bamboo School, the monarch of soul divergence, to survive this long with a puppet. If not for your spiritual sense and mastery of the great development technique, I would never have believed it. And if you stir my emotions over a female cultivator again, I won't be polite. The old man snorted. Youngster Han, even with the soul-nurturing wood, my soul would last only a few tens of years. I nearly passed on, but my final puppet wasn't finished. After spending countless years in a sensationless puppet, I've lived long enough. If you hadn't seen a woman in so long, you'd react the same. Hanley rubbed his nose, his head aching. The old eccentric's true body was hidden in the tube on Han Li's back. Were it not for the agreement to teach Hanley the final 3 layers of the great development technique and several powerful, unpublished puppet designs, Hanley might have exterminated him. But the old man's spiritual sense was nearly untouchable, capable of threatening Han Li's soul. Facing the monarch of soul divergence, an eccentric who had lived over 10,000 years, Hanley felt utterly powerless. Hanley paused thoughtfully. Old eccentric, when you attached yourself to that puppet body, why didn't you attempt to move your primal soul elsewhere? With your abilities, it shouldn't have been difficult. The aged voice replied with a mix of pride and recollection. You think the soul attachment technique is simple? In my lifetime, I was consumed by too many pursuits at once. I created the secret technique to strengthen one's spiritual sense, founded the Thousand Bamboo School, and studied the long-lost puppet methods of the Heavenly South. My cultivation advanced as I did all this, eventually reaching late nascent soul stage. I ran amok across the region, unmatched by anyone. You ran amok and were unmatched? Hanley raised an eyebrow. Do you think I'm simply boasting? At my peak, I challenged renowned cultivators, but I always maintained a low profile. So few knew my true capabilities. Even the #1 cultivators of the righteous and devil Tao, the leading powers of the Heavenly South, were subdued by me. They even offered the Far West to me, relinquishing their claim. Do you truly think they would have stayed away otherwise? The monarch of soul divergence's voice dripped with pride. The Far West? You fought for it? Hanley asked incredulously. Not just that, the old man continued, swelling with self-importance. I forced the leaders of righteous and devil Tao to swear a venomous oath. For 10,000 years, neither their disciples nor ancestors shall step foot in the Far West. Hanley's mouth twitched at the audacity. If they resisted, I would have exterminated their disciples and descendants. Do you think I am soft-hearted? If they tried to overwhelm me, my 1,000 puppets would have been enough to match them. Surprisingly, neither Tao has invaded the Far West to this day. Perhaps they still honor their ancestors' oath. The old man sounded almost bemused. Hanley fell silent, absorbing the scope of the tale. Even if some details were exaggeration, the 1,000 puppets of the Thousand Bamboo School, even at foundation, establishment stage, were formidable. The combination of sparse resources, great distance, and oaths explained why the Far West remained untouched. A sigh came from the old man. I believed I stood at the peak, but I miscalculated. My lifespan was insufficient, and my cultivation capped at late nascent soul. Though my aptitude was extraordinary, I had only 200 years left, not nearly enough to break through to deity, transformation. Had I focused on cultivation rather than puppets from the start, I might have ascended to the spirit realm. Instead, I was trapped in a puppet body for over 10,000 years, living in terror the entire time. Hanley pursed his lips and rolled his eyes, feeling a twinge of envy. Ordinary cultivators struggle to condense a nascent soul. This old man spoke of deity transformation as if it were a simple matter. He was a cultivation genius seen only once in 10,000 years. Seeing no hope of ascension, I could not simply wait for death. Souls are said to be immortal, but if I reincarnated without memories, would I still be myself? I could become an ordinary commoner without spirit roots, unlikely to become a cultivator again. Terrified, I spent my remaining 200 years devising a way to extend my life and preserve my memories. After countless failures, I discovered the soul attachment technique, using the Great Development Technique as a base. It was unprecedented. The old man's laugh turned cold and bitter. Hanley smiled faintly. So you sacrificed most of your cultivation to attach your consciousness to a puppet, and became a living corpse for 10,000 years. Understand this, the old man snapped. I had no time. The soul attachment technique was incomplete, and I barely retained my spiritual sense. Manifesting a nascent soul was impossible. My secret room was guarded by spell formations and over 100 puppet soldiers. Without a true body or magic power, I could not control them. I feared enemies would retaliate, so I told no one. My disciples were only at core formation stage and could not find me. For 10,000 years I was trapped. Without my puppet body and the spirit stones in the secret room, I would have perished long ago. Hanley frowned, contemplative. Then he relaxed slightly and asked, Old eccentric, why are you so talkative today? Before you were always indifferent, barely speaking of your past. The old man snorted. Who said I wouldn't speak? Since you cultivated the Great Development Technique, I consider you a disciple of sorts. Had you not discovered my secret room so quickly, my soul would have scattered. The soul attachment technique is not a true method of longevity. Even with a puppet, my soul would have burned out. You noticed my body was different and nearly struck me first. You almost killed me. I nearly struck you. If not for your sneak attack with that 7 Passions art, I would have left you alone despite sensing something unusual. That bond with my second nascent soul stopped you from further action. Your 7 Passions art may disturb a second nascent soul, but my main nascent soul could assimilate you entirely. How could I know a young eccentric like you condensed a second nascent soul? I could only use my spiritual sense and attacked for self-preservation, the old man argued righteously. Hanley fell silent, unwilling to continue the debate. After a pause, the old man said, almost self-mockingly, "Enough. I did not expect you to possess a soul-nurturing wood treasure. Otherwise, I would have perished in a year at most. That is a silver lining." Hanley stopped in his tracks calmly. "I allowed you to use it because you agreed to teach me the last 3 layers of the great development technique, and I am interested in your puppet designs. Your decade-long research inside that secret room should not go to waste. This is purely business." The old man laughed heartily. "Youngster Han, you grow more pleasant with every word. In the past, I despised deception. But if your aptitude were better, I would have taken you as a disciple and passed on all my knowledge." Hanley blinked, then smiled faintly. "I have many techniques already, but my talent cannot match my spirit's ambition. Even if you gave me a cultivation art 100 times superior, I could not fully focus on it. Still, I am keenly interested in your secret techniques." The old man waved off the comment. "Secret techniques? You'll be disappointed. They are tied to my main cultivation art. Without it, you cannot use them." Hanley's expression softened, and he shifted the topic. "I am already satisfied with the great development technique and your puppet designs. But why did you give your disciples false final layers, instead of the true last 3 layers?" The old man clicked his tongue. "My disciples? In centuries past, not one reached nascent soul. Giving them the true layers would have brought disaster. You, though not a disciple, were able to acquire the first layers. My reasoning proved sound.